Good morning. I wanted to give you a quick demonstration of some different woodwind instruments so you can hear what they sound like. Got my helper here. Say hello. Hi, say. Yeah, I was hoping to do this in person, but unfortunately my PCR test hasn't come back yet, so I can't be in. So I'm going to play a number of different woodwind instruments and tell you a little bit about them. So the first woodwind instrument I started to learn was the recorder, and I learned this when I was in primary school. And then from that I found that I really enjoyed playing woodwind instruments, so I started to learn the flute. Now it was quite easy to transition from the recorder to the flute because even though the embouchure, or the way you blow the instrument, is different, the way you make the notes with the different combinations of fingers was quite similar. So I didn't find it too tricky then, transitioning from one instrument to another. So in case you haven't seen it before, this is what a flute looks like. And it's part of the woodwind family, and sometimes people find this a bit confusing because obviously the flute is made out of metal. But originally when flutes were first made, they would have been made out of wood rather than metal. And it was only when the flutes were redesigned that they started being made from metal. And my flute is what's called an open hole flute. So if you look at the keys, you can see there's holes in the middle of them. And that kind of makes the sound a lot brighter and a lot clearer. So I'm just going to play you a short little piece on flute so you can hear what it sounds like. Okay, so it's got a very bright, I always think it sounds quite sort of angelic sound, okay, and it was what first attracted me to playing the flute was when I heard somebody play it. I really liked the sound of it, and also I think when I was little, because it was a really nice shiny instrument, I liked the fact that it was shiny too. So that was the first instrument I started playing. And then I started playing in orchestras and things like that, and when I went to secondary school then, I started learning the saxophone. Now the saxophone you don't tend to see in orchestras so much. You tend to see it in things like jazz bands and also a lot of like pop groups and things like that. You often see sort of a sax or a wind section. Now again, lots of people think that this instrument belongs to the brass family because obviously it looks like the same material that trumpets and cornets and trombones are made out of. But the reason it belongs to the woodwind family is because, if I show you the mouthpiece, you can see that there's something there called a reed, okay? And this is basically a bit of wood, and this is what actually makes the sound on a saxophone. So that's why it belongs to the woodwind family rather than the brass family. So the saxophone has got a deeper sound than the flute because it's a bigger instrument, and also, as I say, it's got kind of like a jazzier sound to it as well. So I'll just play a little piece so you can hear what that sounds like. So. Sabotaged by my toddler. So that's what the saxophone sounds like. As you say, you can hear it's a lot deeper in pitch. Then the next instrument I started to learn, and the final one I'm going to show you today, is a really tiny little instrument, and it is called the Piccolo. Okay, and this is what a piccolo looks like. It's really ditty. It's basically like a flute that has been shrunk. And I bought this instrument because when I started playing in orchestras, sometimes composers write the flute part so that at some points in the pieces they have to switch to piccolo. So out of the savings from my part-time job, I bought this. And as we know, the smaller the instrument gets, the higher pitch the instrument gets. So the piccolo is really high in pitch. So if I show you, okay, it's really high. And that's why in an orchestra you don't usually have perhaps one or two piccolos, even though you've got all those other instruments, because the sound is so high, it carries over the sound of all the other instruments. So again, I'll just play a little piece so you can hear what the piccolo sounds like. so you can hear how much higher that is in the flute. It's a really, really high pitched instrument, but really effective in a lot of orchestral pieces. So I hope you found that useful today. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon.